Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to this story uh, through the DC fan page. You can get plot synopsis and character bios. So we're going to be looking at Detective Comics number 404. This issue is from originally October of 1970, so the turn of the centuries. The goofiness of the 60s are starting to wear off, and a more serious Batman is starting to come. So Denny O'Neil and oh my goodness gracious, Neil Adams started to make Batman into a more serious character. They were trying to get the stench off that campy TV show off Batman and trying to just, like I said, create a more serious tone that carries on till today, but ramped up in the 80s through Frank Miller and Jim Starlin's run. I am also covering Jim Starlin's run, which is a short run, unfortunately. I think it was about 15 issues. And there was also Batman the Cult, which I have covered. So feel free to check those out. During this period, Detective Comics, half of it was Batman. The other half, in this case, would have been Batgirl. So this story is really only about 15 pages long. We have this cover, homage to Joe Kubert. And it's a different kind of story, but like I said, we still have a little bit of the 60s here. I had started sort of with the Ra's al Ghul and decided, hey, let me just go back. So I paused the Ra's al Ghul part and went back. I'm trying to get all of the Neil Adams with Denny O'Neil only. So Neil Adams actually started in the late, I think in 68, he started doing like Brave and the Bold and all these different other stuff. But it's really when Dennis O'Neil, rest in peace, both of these guys, Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. It's when Denny comes that Batman really starts to evolve from the campiness, because even I have covered his first Batman story, which I think was the world's finest one. It was just I covered it because it was Neil Adams' first Batman, but that story was just so over the top. And so, all right, here we go. You are standing on a windswept cliff somewhere in central Spain, looking through the eyes of a solitary watcher, observing a speck of an aircraft in the distance. It is closer, and you hear its engine sputtering. You see that it's a French-made Nieuport 17, a motorized kite that was used in the world's first air combat in 1916. Suddenly, it flips over and hurls toward the rocks below. And you know with chill, certainly, that you are witnessing a murder. The ground shudders as the plane splinters against the cliff's snowy face. Leave now the eyes of the dread Batman and follow the caped Avenger through a tangle of crime into the bleakest corner of a man's soul. A man who must become ghost of the killer skies. One of the things I will say is they put Batman in the weirdest places. Even Denny O'Neil did. The stories were more serious, but I mean they put places like the top of the mountains. Even when they did Ra's al Ghul, I'm like, what is this guy doing in the Himalayas? Why is Batman was having adventures in areas, and you're like, it just doesn't quite work. But another thing that I don't like with the recoloring, I have the Neil Adams collection. There's 3 volumes that DC Comics released, but they recolored. I prefer the lighter blue. I know that they did this to give it the more modern feel that Batman has now, but uh this is not the Batman that I love is the Batman that has that really cool blue. Almost a Carolina blue almost. So Ah, swift as his flying name sake, the Batman swoops to the broken craft. So you can see Batman jumping down and getting this pilot. Um, Incredible. I saw there be foul play, but not the kind I thought. The pilot's been strangled. He must have been dead before the crash, strangled in midair in a single-seater plane. And so, um, also, the inker is Dick Giordano, by the way, whom I really love his inking. Not a big fan of his penciling, but his inking is quite good. Up there, Mr. Anson. You think I don't know, boob? So we climb. The film crew. It won't do to let them see the Batman here in Spain. At least not yet. Less than a minute later. I'm sorry. They climbed from down there up there in a minute? I don't think so. Even if they were 50 feet down, it still takes them more than a minute. Especially carrying a camera. Are you a cameraman or a piece of the scenery, Gavin? You got a fire. Get some footage of it. Maybe we can use a fire. Check, Mr. Anson. I'm spooked. The guy's been strangled. Did someone say dead? Like a doornail, Mr. Wayne. Bruce, baby. What this picture is Jinx. That pilot was one of the few left who can fly those World War I crates. Nothing but trouble since we started. We come to Spain because we can make it cheap here. And what happens? Props are missing. Film stock catches fire. Soundtrack gets accidentally erased. And now this. I'm ready to give up. Perhaps we should return to the set and call a meeting. Shortly, on the main set of the movie in progress, tentatively titled The Hammer of Hell. You want reasons why we should pack our bags and scoot? I'll give them, Bruce. Not only have we had setbacks, which puts us already a lot over our budget, but I hear another outfit is making a German war pick. It'll kill our market. But the other company doesn't have a director like you, Anson, a 3-time Academy Award winner. And they aren't telling the story of Baron Hans von Hammer, the most enigmatic flyer who ever lived. I believe in the Hammer of Hell and the things it can say to audiences about the future and folly of war. That's why I put money into it. And while I'll continue to finance it. And this guy comes out. Pardon me, please. Come on in, Franz. I have hear about accident. No, my fellow pilot killed. More than killed. Strangled. Brucey, meet Heinrich Franz, our technical expert. Heinrich, this is Bruce Wayne, one of the bankrollers of this mess we're working on. You've done a fine job keeping our antiques in the air, Herr Franz. I'm sorry for the troubles, mein Herr. Perhaps we are not fated to complete this film, eh? Von Hammer was a great believer in the fate, the destiny of the killer skies, he called it. Perhaps Von Hammer's ghost is our enemy, eh? Well, I have some business to attend to. Maybe the Batman can find the answer to that on the movie set. And so, in Bruce Wayne's hotel room, I thought there was something familiar about Franz. The resemblance is uncanny. He looks almost exactly like the man in this photo, the real Baron von Hammer. And as Alice said, I cannot say it. We'll skip it. Curioser and Curioser. All right. Night, thick as velvet cloak, enshrouds the cardboard and canvas castle and the makeshift airfields which lies nearby. Hurry, light the fuses and run. Si, Senor Hammer. Then we'll give you the pesos you promised, Senor. They don't use pesos in Spain. All right. Something moves in the darkness. Use your flash, idiot. And so Batman comes, and of course, Hombre Murcielago is literally Batman. So, my asking you to surrender in English or Spanish would doubtless fall on deaf ears. So, boom. Great panel, by the way. You never see Batman. Like, this is just beautiful. Absolutely a wonderful, wonderful panel. Definitely a beautiful panel. All right. Martinez, the fuse, destroy the planes. Si, Senor Hammer. And I shall place my blade in this monster. And so Batman kicks him. He moves swiftly as a shark. No, more swiftly than a shark. This relentlessly trained body, powered by unquenchable will, strikes, and strikes again with devastating precision. I don't know about you guys, and modern comic books, you just don't see this kind of writing. And I don't mean the story itself, just the words being used. It's so different when you read a modern comic book. I mean, the adjectives used, it's so it's so different. A modern comic book just doesn't give you this type, again, not of the storytelling, just the words, the descriptiveness that these writers from the 70s and 80s were doing. Stan Lee, have you ever read a Stan Lee book? I'm covering some of the early Amazing Spider-Mans. Just the verbosity of Stan Lee, and you see this in so many other different characters and writers using them in different titles. It's just amazing. And then Image came, and it just changed everything. So, for this is the Batman, one who knows a special sort of greatness. So we can see Batman going toward the dynamite here. At least 2 of my playmates were hit hard enough to stay cooled, but that third one might still be up to another round. Couldn't give both him and the explosive attention both needed. As I thought he's trying for a quick exit. He runs like a reject from an old folks' home. Un momento, hombrecito, means just a moment. Dear friend, if you value your fine teeth, you will speak to the man who hired you to do evil things in his name. And so this is being translated from the Spanish. So Batman habla español. So this I know not, man of the bats. Always he is masked in goggles and scarf, even as you are masked. He pays us many pesos to ruin the work of the American filmmakers, but I swear on the grave of my mother, I have not his true identity. Did he require you to tamper with the airplane? This we did not do. I choose to believe you. For the moment, go. Seek a policeman. Surrender yourself and your companions. Should you attempt to flee, I will hunt you, though you hide at the ends of the earth. So, motive, opportunity, and one very bad slip of the tongue. It's got to be him masquerading as Von Hammer. So, the Batman is certain he has solved the mystery. Are you as certain? I have no way of knowing exactly where he fled, but it is probable he's returned here to the company's living area. Yes, there's a light in his trailer. As I hoped, he's stopped to collect his blood money. And so Batman pushes in. Finish counting. I'm curious to learn how much of the rival money, how much the rival movie outfit paid you to sabotage the Hammer of Hell. The Batman. Gavin, the camera. I don't understand how you could have known. So, it was not Von Hammer. You made one howling mistake in front of witnesses at the site of the plane crash. You mentioned the pilot was strangled before you were close enough to see the body. You were busy taking pictures, so you must have already known how he died. But I wasn't anywhere near the plane. No, but one of those Spanish goons you hired could have hidden in the cockpit of the airplane, put a gun in the pilot, forced him to take off, then strangled him in the air and bailed out behind a mountain. You also had a thug sabotage the plane as insurance. I noticed that one of Newport's flaps was struck down in the half position. That's why the craft rolled just before the crash. I didn't do anything to the plane. I have no reason to lie now. And so suddenly, blam, blam, he hears shots. Hurt. Bad. Not gonna make it. Anson. He's been hit in the chest. Easy, fella. Can you speak? Tell me what happened. Ghost of Von Hammer blasted me. Went away toward the airfield. And then he dies. Dead. Cut down by somebody with a big caliber pistol. Yet, it couldn't have been Gavin. He was with me. And so Batman chases after him. There's only one possible answer. Two men sabotaging the film. And the second has to have knowledge of the vintage aircraft. So, and then the cameraman is tough on my director buddy, but a lucky break for me. I can make my getaway while the Batman's tending to Anson. So, which, of course, he doesn't see Batman's after him. And so, Gavin's even worse at the 100-yard dash than his employee. He'll stay put until I get around to collecting him. So, Batman hits him from behind. So he's running toward the airplane. I love the action. Neil Adams changed the game. I've mentioned it before. He bridged that Kirby era to a more realistically looking era. So somebody starting an engine sounds like an old Fokker triplane. Anson said his killer went toward the strip. Got to run like I've never run before. The Fokker's ready to go, but I don't see a pilot. Please turn around slowly so I may look at you. You're the American Llama, the Batman. Yes, I don't believe we've met. You may call me the ghost of Hans von Hammer. I'd rather not. I'd rather call you by your name. Heinrich Franz at your service. You're the one who's been sabotaging the movie. Guilty as charged. This filthy American film is an insult to the memory of Germany's finest hero. Von Hammer was a god. The Americans show him as a soft, sniveling weakling, put into his mouth words of compassion, of mercy, of respect for the enemy. Bah, he was ruthless. My ancestors magnificently ruthless. Not in the way I read the story. I see the Baron as a man caught between his feeling of duty and his own basic instincts, a tragic, tormented, and somewhat pitiful soldier. As you will. I am not going to argue history. Rather, I'm going to kill. Shoot an unarmed man? Is that how Von Hammer would have acted? Or we have welcomed the fair fight? Yes, you're right. A contest of skill. That is the way of Von Hammer. The Newport is fueled and ready. I shall meet you in the killer sky. And so Batman is gonna go on the airplane. It's awesome. Once, a long time ago, an old stunt pilot showed me how to fly these crates. I hope I remember all he said, because if I don't, that mania will go free and I'll be dead. As the first lights of the day breaks over the clouds east of the field, two frail things, barely more than sticks covered with canvas, climb slowly away from the earth. They turn in screaming arcs and begin a death duel. Batman with the goggles. This is just awesome. You can see the Kubert influence here. He's trying for me with the Luger. Maybe he's forgotten I'm not armed. Or maybe he's not really interested in a fair fight. In either case, I've got to get out of range. I'm doing some fancy flying and I don't understand how, with a small amount of instruction I've had. I couldn't be pushing this guy through aerobatics. It's almost as though I'm getting help. He's diving straight at me. Does he plan to crash? No, he's using his prop to cause turbulence, hoping that I'll be bounced around until I make a mistake. A fatal mistake. If the plane can take it, so can I. First job is to get out of his backwash by going upstairs. And then I'll try to stunt of my own. The engines quit. One of the slugs must have cut the fuel line. I'm a sitting duck, but he can't have more than one bullet left. Got to make him waste it by doing the totally unexpected. So he shoots, and there goes Batman. You are a courageous foe. It's almost with respect that I destroy you. I shall salute you as you fall, as the great Baron saluted his valiant enemies. And so he hits Batman with the gun. Franz, behind you. Surely this is not worthy of the Batman, expecting to believe I'm being attacked from behind while we ride the winds high above ground. No, your scarf. And the scarf is catching up and chokes him. It caught the prop, yanked him out of the cockpit, and he goes and screams down. It says, I wonder if Franz was really a descendant of von Hammer, or just another victim of the most terrible of loves, the love of war. I guess I'll never know. And Batman walks away. A tribute to the great Joe Kubert and Robert Canninger, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, and Dick Giordano. Rest in peace, all of the people here: Julie Schwartz, Dick Giordano, Neil Adams, and Denny O'Neil. So, hope you liked it. It's a different kind of story, but like I said, it's all right. I enjoyed it, so I hope you did too. So like and subscribe, and I thank you for listening. Goodbye.